All right, guys, we would like to see make a comeback in the NFL. You got a question for me? Go ahead.
Yep, here we go. All right, so every year at the Augusta Sports Council presents an award to the best collegiate player at a certain position. The award is named after a Hall of Famer who you could say is in a class by himself. What is the award?
I have no idea whatsoever. I don't know what you're getting at with this. Go ahead. Oh, the Ray Guy Award, given to the nation's best collegiate punter. I would have never guessed that. But Ray Guy he is from Augusta, and he was the first great punter in NFL history and the only punter in the Hall of Fame. All right, you get the first pick.
Well,
that was not an easy question.
That was not an easy at all. I knew I had heard that before that Ray Guy was from there, but I would not come up with that at all. That was a tough one. No question. All right. Guys we want to see make a comeback. All right. The first guy I'm going to throw out there is like Michael Thomas. Like, where the hell you been? I want to see Michael Thomas make a comeback and reestablish himself as one of the best receivers in football. You know, his attitude, what he does, it's kind of polarizing. He certainly helps the Saints and gives them an attitude. But, you know, we were talking to this as a guy that most people, and especially the fantasy world, viewed as like, oh my gosh, the greatest fantasy receiver in the history of the world. And we haven't seen him now for basically 2 years. So that's one where I look at to see. I want to see a comeback and see what he's got and see him jump back on the scene.
I still remember when he got hit low late in that Week 1 game, 2020. I saw it happen kind of on the corner of the screen, and I thought Michael Thomas has an ankle injury, and who would have known it was as bad as it ended up being. We've not seen him do anything since then. I'm going more along the lines of guys who are out that I want to see come back, because Tiger was essentially out. We never expected to see him come back. So my first pick's Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck's still in his early 30s. Andrew Luck could come back and play at a high level. I'd like to see Andrew Luck. And at one point I thought maybe he would. There's never been any real chatter about it, though. I thought maybe he would go to Las Vegas and play with John Gruden out there or something along those lines. I don't think he's ever coming back, but I'd love to see him do it.
Yeah, I mean, I would too. I'm with you. I mean, I think that's still one of the more underrated or, you know, not talked about amazing moments really over the last decade of football. First off, how it threw such a curveball or a wrench into the Colts organization where you just go, holy crap, look at their team and look what they are. If they still had Andrew Luck, what would we be saying about the Indianapolis Colts? We'd be going, they're maybe the best team in football or up there. That was huge. So, okay, cool one. You're going that way. I like that. I'm going to go, I'm going to stay with kind of like my way a little bit here. I'm going to go with OBJ. That's the next guy. Again, the way that happened, I don't want to see that happen to anybody, let alone in the Super Bowl when you're on the cusp of tearing the other team apart and becoming like the best receiver in the game and maybe winning the MVP. That hurt my heart. I'm a fan of him to begin with, have gotten a chance to spend a little time with him, so I do like the human being to go along with it, and I think the talent is real. So I want to see him come back in the NFL and remind everybody that the guy we saw towards the end of the year is really the real Odell Beckham Jr., not the guy who couldn't get the ball in Cleveland even when he was open.
Next one for me, and this is another one, a guy who's out that I would like to see come back in, a guy who last played in 2015 and is in the Hall of Fame. Bring back Megatron. He's only 36. Bring back Calvin Johnson. Let's see him play. And, he has said from time to time, one of his issues with the Lions, they didn't let him go. They let Matthew Stafford go. They didn't let Calvin Johnson go to a different team. They didn't let Barry Sanders go to a different team. Maybe they learned their lesson. But I think Calvin Johnson can still get it done. He's 6'5". Make him a tight end. Put about 40 pounds on him. But I'd love to see him back in the NFL.
Yeah, well, yes. I mean, I would too. He's certainly one of the greatest of all time. I was wondering where you were going there. You said 5 years ago or 2015. I was like, wait, is he going Peyton Manning here? Is he going Colin Kaepernick? I wasn't sure where you were going.
It is amazing it's been that long since Calvin Johnson has last played. All right, round 3 of the guys we want to see make a comeback in the NFL, inspired by Tiger Woods, teeing off at about 11 a.m. Eastern today at the Masters. Chris, you're up round 3.
Well, mine's going to be a little bit more about like revival of the career comeback type of thing. It's not like a total like been injured or been out or something like that. I'm going to go with Khalil Mack here. Khalil Mack, I'm rooting for him. One, I like him. He's a hell of a player. He's, gotten a little bit of a bad rap in Chicago because he didn't get as many sacks or live up to the expectations of the big contract and the trade. but was still really, really good. And now he's with the Chargers. Brandon Staley has a little history with them all together. Joey Bosa's on the other side. I want to see if that revives his career. I think there could be a chance this gives him a little juice and maybe makes him a little bit more of a force in the NFL this year.
Last one for me, and this guy was on my list. The name came up when we were kicking some things around during the break. Specifically, has a Hall of Famer ever come back? And Joe Gibbs is a coach who came back after making it to the Hall of Fame. I want Bill Parcells back involved in football in a position where we can hear from him. He's got so much wisdom. He communicates it in such an entertaining way. He was great when he was on ESPN. Very blunt, very no nonsense. And remember, it was 10 years ago. There was talk about him taking over the Saints during the Bountygate year. Remember that almost happened? That would have been something.
No doubt. I would love to see Bill Parcells back in some capacity. Bill Parcells, to me, is one of the best interviews in the history of football, always. Just, you say he's got so many creative ways to say something or make a point with just one sentence, and you go, damn, that was good. That's where and I have to hear it all the time from my dad. I hear it about once a week from that.
Technically, he's a courtesy consultant for the Cleveland Browns and has been since 2014. Didn't know that. So.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.